I'm still using the free version just because I don't ever need something so in depth. I don't see the need for it right now. It already does everything I need it to perfectly. But I have been wanting to maybe dabble just to see what it can give me that's a little bit different and if it's worth it. So maybe one of these days I will just sign up and be like, all right, what's the difference? Can I geek out even more on this? But I'm just not there yet.
Welcome to Authentic AI for Entrepreneurs, the podcast that shows you how to leverage the power of AI technology without wasting your time or selling your soul. Let's embrace making AI work for you. Hey, my feel-good friend, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Kinsey, and today we are nerding out with our guest, Kathleen. She is sharing her process for repurposing content so that she can batch create and schedule out her content for Instagram and all the things months in advance. And I really love the tools that she shares. I loved hearing about her process. It's super actionable and super easy for us to take and implement this week. So I know you're going to love this conversation. If you do, please share this podcast with another biz buddy who could also use to listen to it, and or share it to your Instagram stories and make sure that you tag me. I'm at Authentic AI for Entrepreneurs. That way I can see it, reshare it, give you a follow, and just continue cheering you on over there. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Hi, Kathleen. Thank you so much for coming on Authentic AI for Entrepreneurs, lady. I'm so excited to bring you on the show.
Hey, Kinsey. I am super excited to be here. I feel like I'm always geeking out and not a lot of people understand where I'm coming from when I talk about me using AI. So I'm super excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, girl, we are going to have the best geek out conversation. I know, that's exactly how I feel too. It's like, and I feel like AI sometimes I feel the same way about the Enneagram sometimes because I'm like, I don't want to totally just word vomit geeking out stuff on you unless you're kind of into it. So you're in the right place, lady. But before we dive into the conversation, I did already introduce you just a little bit in the intro, but I'd love to hear from you. Who are you? What do you do? And who do you serve?
So as you guys know, my name is Kathleen. I am a adventurous person. You never quite know where I might be, but I am always here helping other women. So what I do is I'm an operations officer for female entrepreneurs, small business owners, and professionals. I help with that back end, again, geeky stuff, making sure your systems are flowing, making sure your automations are working. So when it comes to email marketing or CRMs, your project management, all of that fun operational things in your business, I help make sure that it is set up properly and you're utilizing it to the best of your ability so that you are getting time back. So if you're like me and like to go on adventures, you're good, you have kids, husband, or whatever it might be, you get that time back from your business and all that admin stuff.
Oh, yes, you are much needed in our space for sure. And I can't wait to hear how you've been utilizing AI tools in all the system stuff. So this is going to be such a great combo. But before we dive into all the hot tips and all that stuff, I always kind of like to kick off the conversations by just asking, how did you get started dipping your toes into the AI world? What has that looked like for you?
So I would definitely say it was just like a pinky dip when I first started. I had a client, this was before I specialized in what I do now, where I was just a general virtual assistant. And I had a client that needed Pinterest captions. And she was talking about things I never really talked about. And she was like, oh, use a program called Jasper, just put in things in and it will give you some outputs. So I'm like, cool. So that is how I started dipping into it, of just kind of using Jasper for little things that I didn't really understand, captions and stuff like that. And then when I told somebody, I'm like, oh, I'm using this for a client. They're like, oh, have you heard of Open AI, like ChatGPT? They're a free platform. And I was like, free is good. So that is when I started. I was like, okay, I'm still using my brain, but maybe not as powerfully. It can help me with certain things when I just can't get the right words together. So then I started getting more into it. And I was like, you know what? I think I like this. It is cutting back on some extra time that I would need to do certain tasks. And that's what I'm all about, right? Getting your time back. And I was like, okay, it looks like the AI tool, as long as you're feeding it the correct things, it's definitely helpful of cutting back my time and getting my time back.
Yes. Oh, I love this. Yeah, and I am a ChatGPT user. That's kind of my preferred tool at the moment. And I actually have not had a chance to try Jasper yet, but do you have any thoughts? Did you notice any kind of differences in like the outputs, the results that they give you? Like, are there any expectations that we have like when it comes to choosing Jasper or OpenAI and whatnot?
Yeah, so Jasper, they might have a free version. I think it's mostly paid. ChatGPT, obviously, the one maybe people use the most is the unpaid one. And I feel like Jasper, it has prompts, right? You're like, do you want this to be friendly? Do you want this to be serious? Meanwhile, I feel like ChatGPT, you kind of tell it so you can be more specific on things. So let's say that you're writing like a blog and you're like, well, I want this in like a Stephen King like persona, right? And all of a sudden your blog is all like creepy and New England, you know what I mean? Like you can just be so much more open and creative and really get down to details. And then it's like, well, I've already written this blog in my voice. If I put in ChatGPT, it can analyze me, right? So that way it's that side of like just being able to be more creative and more spot on, while Jasper is a little bit limiting where it is good for certain things, absolutely, and it's easy to use. And if you don't have that creativity, you click the prompts and it gives you something. But I just love how diverse and how intense, I guess, you can get with ChatGPT as long as you know what to ask it.
Yeah, I know. I like that about ChatGPT too, is like the ability to train it on your brand voice or whatever you want it to do and stuff too. Yeah, I like that versatility. So that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. So let's talk about how you are kind of using AI tools today in your workflow. What does that look like for you?
So for me, I use it very heavily on my own things as a solopreneur trying to do it all. I try to give more attention to my clients, and sometimes my social media kind of lacks. You can definitely tell when I'm having a busy month. You don't really get much on there. So, and it's funny because I preach to not only batch and schedule things out, but when it comes to myself, sometimes I lack that. But lately, for the next few months at least, I have been able to batch, thankfully, using AI tools. The biggest thing is just being able to repurpose. So, chats like this, whether it's like podcasts or if I gave a talk and I got a link for it, I'm currently using Opus AI. You do have to pay for the credits. You get a few free credits. So you can be like, do I like this? Do I not like this? And I have been loving it. I feed it credits as much as I can whenever I get a recording. So the really cool thing about that is you put in the link and it will ask you, do you want this to be 30 seconds, 30 to like 60 seconds, 90 seconds? So depending on what platform you're putting it on, it will give you different time frames of how much they're pulling from the conversation. They do ask for it to be more of like a conversation versus like just a random like music video, right? And then from there, it downloads your video and then it spits out your video back in these little reels. And it tells you the score. So you can be like, this one's going to be really good for engagement. These ones might not be. And it gives you like an overall. So you kind of don't have to watch the full video if you don't want to. And then personalizing it, you can actually create templates so that it matches your branding if you like. So you can put in like the different colors, how you want because the captions come up too. So now you're getting rid of having to do captions or having to do editing a video. And it's just spitting these out for me. And I find it so great that I can just now, from one, let's say, podcast, I now have 15 reels that I can now schedule out for the next 3 months. And I don't have to think about it again. So absolutely loving OPS AI, not sponsored or anything. I'm just enjoying it. And then the other thing that I'm really using right now when it comes to repurposing and content and stuff like that, especially for social media, is sometimes OPS doesn't read like the video. So depending on what platform the person uses, it won't be able to read it. So I have decided to transcribe them. So now I will take my audio and transcribe it. And I'm currently using Notta. I'm sure I'm saying it right. Notta. That way I transcribe everything and now I have everything there where I can see it. When I am feeling a little bit lazy, just a little bit, I will take my transcription, throw it in ChatGPT, let it know what type of marketing I am using it for, and have it spit out quotes from it. So that's when I'm getting really lazy where I'm like, I don't even have time to read this transcription right now. It is transcribed, put into ChatGPT, tell it what I want, and it gives me quotes. And then I make, marketing material or something out of that. Sometimes I will sit there and actually pull the quotes and be like, I want this quote. Or if it's like, a quote and I give some tips, I know it's going to be like a carousel for Instagram or something like that. So yes, between Opus AI, Notta, and ChatGPT, it has been so easy to get my social media done.
Girl, I am geeking out. There's so much gold there. And I want to dive deeper into lots of different parts. And I just want to say, too, that, like, I don't think that's being lazy, lady. I think that's being smart to throw the transcript into ChatGPT. That's actually what I've been doing, too, quite often. And, oh my gosh, Opus has been on my list to try for a long time. So I feel like this afternoon I'm going to have to hop into there and share it. And I didn't realize that you could just share a link to the video. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you can actually, on Opus, you can schedule on Instagram through Opus. Like you don't have to download it and then put it on there. Like if you're just like, oh, I'm just going to get this done real fast, you could say share to Instagram and then put in your caption and share it through Opus. So that's kind of cool too. I personally download everything and I put it in a Google Drive. One, to always have it, but two, I do have my VA schedule it out for me. And like, depending if I'm like promoting something or like, just so that you're not getting like 15 of the same podcasts in a row. I do schedule it out for her in my ClickUp. So she kind of knows what the calendar is supposed to look like. But if you don't, or if you're like, oh crap, I haven't posted anything in a long time, you can do it straight from Opus.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Gonna go geek out about that. And also, by the way, guys, I am actually developing a kind of AI tech toolkit or AI toolkit or something for Authentic AI just to share all the awesome tools that I and my guests have tried and whatnot. So if you're looking for any links or anything like that, it's coming soon, guys, because I know everyone always comes on these episodes and just shares all these awesome tools. So I've been using Descript for transcriptions just because I already have the software, and that's kind of what I've been using, which is why I haven't necessarily dabbled in Opus, but I'm going to go try it for sure. But how did you land on Notta or Notta AI, whatever you use for the transcript part?
So for the transcript part, it really was free transcription.
Yeah.
And one of the first ones that popped up, I think it's paid after a certain amount. But then once I already had I think it was like 2 or 3 podcasts in there that was already free. And I was like, I might as well get the rest of these podcasts transcribed. And that's kind of how I landed on it. It seems super easy to use. Sometimes when people share podcasts, they have like crazy links that it goes to, or sometimes they don't send me the link. So I have to find it on whatever, like Apple or Spotify or something like that and download it from there. So sometimes things don't always read the link. And Notta has been reading everything without me having to try to figure it out. So yeah, it was more like free transcription. It was one of the ones that popped up. They had a really good free trial and it got me hooked.
Heck yeah, that sounds awesome. And I love it. I can't wait to kind of maybe go play around in that too. That is one of the things I've been having trouble with as the host of this podcast is all the tools. I'm like, I gotta go try them. But thanks for sharing that. So then when you take the transcriptions to ChatGPT, awesome. I've been doing that too. Do you have any tips or have you noticed anything when it comes to having ChatGPT analyze these transcripts for you? So it's like when it's giving you the carousels or the quotes or whatever that is.
Yeah. So I find that don't put the whole transcript in. I tried that. And when the first time I did it, I was like, read this whole transcript and give me something. It's a lot of information, especially if it's like even if it's a 20-minute podcast, you can talk a lot. I can talk a lot in 20 minutes. So kind of breaking up the podcast a bit so it's not too much and then letting them know, I'll put in be like, I am a systems expert. This is what I want to teach my audience. Then pull from this, right? Or I just did one that was a travel one of how do I travel and work, right? So it was a lot about traveling and tips for getting your business ready, getting your clients ready. So it's okay, well, this was the objective of the podcast. Now pull quotes that match this objective versus just give me quotes or this is for marketing. And I feel this too, the more information you give ChatGPT, the better the outcome you're going to get. So it has been a learning curve when it came to my transcriptions of just throwing the whole thing in there. We're just sectioning it out and telling them exactly what the objective is of, am I teaching something? Do I want people to learn a certain thing? Am I traveling? Do I want them to know tips about this? So the more information that you can give it, it will give you definitely the better outcomes.
Yes. Oh, I love that so much. And I definitely have noticed that too. Just like breaking down the concepts and the steps and the things that you're trying to get from ChatGPT, like breaking it into smaller pieces is so much better because you can't get more specific. You're not overwhelming it with information. So I feel like a lot of people go to ChatGPT and they're like, write 10 caption, like write my entire blog, write my 10 captions, do all the things all at once. But if you could instead do it in step by steps and break it down, like you said, that's way better. Are you using the free version of ChatGPT still, or are you using the paid?
I'm still using the free version just because I don't ever need something so in depth. I don't see the need for it right now. It already does everything I need it to perfectly. But I have been wanting to maybe dabble just to see what it can give me that's a little bit different and if it's worth it. So maybe one of these days I will just sign up and be like, all right, what's the difference? Can I geek out even more on this? But I'm just not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great to hear, because there's quite a few, AI pusher type of, folks in the AI world that use all the tools and do all the things, and it's like, I really think that you find the tools that work for you and you use them in a way that works for you. And while I use the premium version of ChatGPT, I think it's totally awesome to use the free version if that's what's working for you too, right? But I was going to say, because I actually use the file upload to just upload the transcript document usually too. And I kind of want to, now that I'm hearing what you're saying and stuff too, it's reminding me that I should really test maybe just uploading smaller portions or whatever it is, right? It's just so fun to test out all these different things and stuff, right? But I think it's really also awesome to just hear that, yeah, it's okay to use the free version for even stuff like this, Random question, and I feel like it's top of people's mind right now too, and it's something that I've just been talking about and teaching about for a while, but when it comes to getting ChatGPT to write copy for you, do you ever struggle with anything that it does sounding too cheesy, using too many emojis? What's that look like for you, lady?
For me, it's definitely too professional because I feel like the business that I'm talking about business systems, right? I'm talking about these very nerdy things. And I'm not like that. I like the nerdy stuff, but I'm very conversational. I'm very funny, or not funny, but just friendly and stuff like that. So when I am trying to maybe update my website copy or use something different for a landing page, it's so professional. It's I'm not like this in person, but how else do I say the systems that you need in your business is, you know what I mean? It's and it's the same thing when people ask me what I do, or a stranger, right? And they're like, well, what do you do? And I was like, I don't know how to say what I do without sounding like an elevator pitch. So I think ChatGPT also doesn't know how to sound like not a professional elevator pitch. So then I'm like, okay, let's go casual. And then and then it gets too casual. And it's what's up, dog? And I'm like, I don't talk like that either. So sometimes it's finding the middle point of being professional yet friendly. Just in the business that I'm in, if I was maybe more of a creative person, then it would, it probably wouldn't go as professional. So yeah, so copy, I definitely have to sit there and do multiple versions of it until finally I'm like, this is good enough. I'm going to just change it into my words. But you gave me the bread, right? Now I just have to add all of the flavor to it because I got the gist.
Have you been feeling frustrated trying to get ChatGPT to sound like you? You know this is an awesome tool you can use for so many things in your business, but you're tired of wasting time going back and forth only to end up with generic copy that sounds like a robot wrote it. Our new brand persona for ChatGPT mini course will help you hone your brand's unique voice with the help of ChatGPT, so you can get ChatGPT to dish up content ideas that are perfect for your brand and write copy that sounds just like you. With this quick, easy, and actionable mini course, we'll walk you through the process of training ChatGPT for your brand, so in less than an hour, you can turn ChatGPT into your amazing new assistant, content creator, copywriter, brainstormer at a minuscule fraction of the cost. So why wait? Sign up for our brand persona for ChatGPT mini course right now at AuthenticAIForEntrepreneurs.com/mini course. And in less than an hour, we'll get your ChatGPT to sound just like your brand and work authentically for your business. Yes. Yeah. I feel like that's something that we need to hear again and again when it comes to AI tools in general, right? And is a lot of us need to adjust our expectations just a little bit. You know what I mean? It's still an awesome tool that you can use that's helpful in getting you there faster, being more productive, and helping you like make your ideas more concrete, all these things. But like we can't really expect it to give us the perfect stuff all the time or from the get-go. Like it's kind of a back and forth process, and or like you still need to use your own critical thinking and editing skills and all the different stuff. So that's good to hear. To backtrack just a little bit, when it comes to the Opus AI, have you noticed anything when it comes to like the clips it's giving you, or like is there anything that's like frustrating or that you need to tweak or anything like that?
The one thing I won't do, no matter what it is, you cannot pay me enough, is video editing. I can't, nope. So I think with Opus, it is that perfect balance of it actually gives you the right part of the conversation, right? Like if I'm stating tips, it's going to give me that tip stating stuff. And like I say, it ranks it. So they're like, this is the best video. Like it's a 99 score, or like this is only a 70 score. It might not do good. So I think for someone like me who I will not go back and video edit, if this fell behind me, I would not go and edit it. You know what I mean? So yeah. I do love it. It gives me exactly the right things. It gives you the title too. So like if you're not thinking of a title, it figures out what you're talking about and it gives it the title, like best CRM to use if I'm talking about, CRMs and stuff like that. So I have not been mad at it. I have not wanted to tweak it. But again, I am very simple when it comes to my videos. I throw it in, it gives it right back. I do zero editing. I post it the way it is on social media, the good, the bad, the ugly. But it does give me the right things with like, okay, if I'm talking about CRMs, it's gonna pull that part of the clip and then give me the title and like a blurb if I were to like just copy and paste everything.
Oh, amazing. I love that. And yes, it's definitely one of those things that I'm like, my computer is overheating because I have to go in and do this video editing. It's like, okay, great. I know where my afternoon is going now. It's going to be testing out this app.
You just upload it and then you're like, oh, these are, I usually stick to like 30 to 60 seconds and then it can be on as reels or whatever. And then you can exit out of it. It will email you like your Opus clips are ready. And it's like, okay, let me go back in. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to sit there. And that's just like perfect for me. So I just let it do its thing. And then I come back, maybe like 10 minutes later and it might already be done. So yeah. So if you're not a techie person, but you still want to repurpose, I recommend it, just have your reels up.
I love this so much. Yay. Thank you for sharing that. I want to switch gears just a little bit because as a systems person, I haven't necessarily chatted with someone who's systems specific on the podcast yet and stuff, but I know that a lot of people in a lot of industries are just a little bit concerned about AI tools, quote unquote, like taking their jobs or whatever like that. And or they're like concerned about even sharing with clients that they're using AI tools and things like that. Like, do you have any thoughts about that at all?
Like I said, Laura, like we talked about earlier, it doesn't know everything, right? You might get something that's too professional. You might get something that's too goofy. Like sometimes you're like, can you add some emojis? It's all emoji. It's like a sentence. And I'm like, that's, I feel like there's a lot of extremes too. And to actually use AI, especially ChatGPT, the way it's intended and the way that it's going to help you, you have to put effort into what it's going to like vomit on you, right? It's like, not only do I want a blog, but I need a blog that says this, this, and that. All right, let's start with the first paragraph. Like you're still putting in the time, the effort, and then you have to make sure that whatever they are spitting out at you, like when you're using the free version, is that it's not outdated information, right? So I can be like, hey, let's write a blog about ClickUp. Me as a ClickUp expert, if it tells me something, oh, you can do this, but now you can no longer do this, or it says you can only do this, but now I know with, 3.0 out, you can do much more. Like I want to be able to add that in. So you need to be able to fact check it to an extent instead of just letting it do its thing. So again, like it's a great help. It's definitely a tool. right? It's a tool that you have to know how to use, but also be able to differentiate, be like, it gave me the first, paragraph. Now I can do my own thing on this, or it gave me a great title that I had a brain fart. I couldn't think of a good title, So no, it's not taking anybody's jobs. Especially, I don't know about the paid version, but the free version will not be taking your job. You have to put in the time, the effort, and like fact check it yourself, right? If you're ever in a situation where you have to talk about dates, don't think that they're 100% the right dates. You have to go back and fact check something. I remember I was doing something for, it wasn't Black History Month, it was something else. Oh, and International Women's Day, and we wanted to talk about some women in the field, and I needed to fact check all the dates because the dates were all wrong. So yeah, definitely need a fact checker.
Yeah, totally. And and I can attest, guys, for the paid version as well. Like, it's not always correct. It can also be very convincing, thinking that it's correct and stuff. So I think that at this point, and I think that this is going to be for a long time, we always need that human gatekeeper, that human touch when you're using these AI tools. It's exactly like you said, it's a tool. Mm-hmm. It's not running the show. So that is always going to be the best way. And I really think that the more we can improve our critical thinking skills, bring our own opinions, creativity, ideas to these tools and work with them, that's really the best way to use it. So thank you for sharing that. Do you have anything else that you want to share with my audience today? Anything you found helpful or mistakes you've made? Anything like that?
Definitely I feel like whenever we talk about now, I feel like AI, people are like AI and they're like, no, that's a different world or whatever it is. But between that and then business system, I say systems to people and they're tune out. They're it's all in that geeky realm. And it's it can help so much that you are getting your time back. Don't always be scared of it. Start with one. If you like one thing, you're this one thing will help me, shed maybe an hour or two, right? Get comfortable with that one thing, whether it's system, whether it's an AI tool, whatever it might be. And then you're gonna be okay, this helped. Maybe it's not so scary and I can try something else. I am so for how do I get my time back? How do I do this not only efficiently, but it's still right and stuff like that. So yeah, take your time. It is not scary. We don't have flying cars yet or anything like that. We're just dipping our toes into what AI might be in the future. And yeah, just let it help you. Use it legitimately like a tool.
Oh my goodness, I know. I say that all the time. It's since I've been in business, 6 years ago or whatever, since then at least, we've had this narrative of work smarter, not harder, trying to find the, balance between business and life. And it's crazy. And finally, actually, we have these tools that are allowing us to do that and stuff. And so I'm so glad you shared that. And also, yes, one tool, one task, one step at a time. Get comfortable with it. You don't have to do it all at once. But yeah, let AI help you. That might be the title of this episode. No, I don't know, but I love it. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Kathleen. Can you please share where everyone can find you, connect with you, learn more about you? Because I know they'll want to do that.
Absolutely. So I'll head over to Instagram, shoot me a DM anytime. It's _KM service. And then you can shoot me an email, Kathleen@kmservice.co, not com, or just check out my website for a little bit more information, www.kmservice.co. And Kinsey, I had a great time geeking out with you. I'm glad that you were yes, instead of what is she talking about and making me sound crazy.
No, of course. And that's what this podcast is all about, girl. So thanks for sharing that with us. We'll link everything in the show notes below. And I appreciate you.
Thanks. Bye.
How great was Kathleen, you guys? It was so much fun to just nerd out with her about all the things. I can't wait to go try Opus Clip. And yeah, like I mentioned during this episode, I will be creating an Authentic AI toolkit that is going to be free for Authentic AI community to access so that you can find all of these awesome tools in one hub down the road. So that is going to be coming soon. Keep an eye out for it. And go ahead and join the waitlist for it at AuthenticAIforentrepreneurs.com. I'll throw one up there. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will catch you next time I catch you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Authentic AI for Entrepreneurs, my friend. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your shows.
All right, cool. And we're back. Okay, um, so yes, when I'm using Notta and I'm actually taking out looking at the transcription, I will then if I'm giving tips or something like that, the person will ask me, "Oh, like what do you know about X, Y, and Z?" And I'll talk about it so I can see that in the transcription, and that's when I know, oh, this is going to be a carousel in Instagram. So it's like this will be the main cover, and then these will be my tips, sort of thing. So yes, between Opus AI for my videos, Notta for my transcription, and then when I'm feeling extra lazy, ChatGPT to pull my codes for me. I am now batching like months in advance, thankfully, for my social media.